What's up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond, and I'm back with my own new review of Put a Ring on It. We are back with Dunbar admitting to Dr. Stacy that he suffers from anger issues, anxiety, and depression. It came from his stepfather, who used to beat his mother. He would come home angry from work and take it out on her. Growing up in that household, it confused Chance on what it means to be a man. So he was taught to fight, not taught to be compassionate, and wasn't taught to how to love and take care of a woman. Now, the fact that he opened up with a mental illness that he has, he needs to accept it. And Dunbar is fighting to not accept it. Fighting, this is a part of him. I mean, he said he was an angry teenager. He was an angry football player. He would take work to home and lash out at his woman. Obviously, the last woman he was with before he got with Chance. And he is so afraid of telling Chance what he deals with because he's so worried that she will leave him. But you don't know if she would embrace you and want to help you, but you are willing to keep this internally because you're not ready to tell her. But how will she know? If you are wanting to be this man for Chance, be able to love her, care for her, be vulnerable with her, you have to be honest with what you're dealing with, be honest with what you have. Accept it. Accept you have anxiety. Accept you are depressed. Accept you have anger issues that you should seek counseling for. And the fact that he's willing to risk it all for not telling Chance because he doesn't want to lose her, it's that controlling narrative that he still is putting up on. Like he wanted to control the narrative of how the date went. So obviously, little things are coming out that he is not recognizing or he feels like it will go away once I just don't deal with it, which will never happen because I battle with depression. I battle with anxiety on a day-to-day basis. I have to recognize the triggers, recognize where I am like not here. I have to fight through it. So the fact that he's not willing to go through this breakthrough with Chance to find out if she's the one for him, but he's willing to still go through with it by not telling her. I don't think that's right. And Dr. Stacy wanted to know how will he relay this message to Chance? How will he say it? Because he has a hard time saying it. The words won't come out, and I'm afraid to say I'm gonna need help. All right, we're gonna figure out more after that, but I'm gonna say this. In this moment of watching Dunbar be emotional, a part of me did not feel anything. It could be me coming off on how Dunbar has been acting the first couple of episodes, this is episode 3, that I didn't sense any genuineness. I sensed someone manipulating the fact that he had a tough trauma, tough childhood in order to seek sympathy, but won't still seek help to understand. We'll still just let it be for what it is. More gonna come. So it's time for all the couples to meet up with Dr. Stacy, but Dunbar and Chance are not there. They're missing. They're waiting and waiting and waiting, and they're not there. I wonder why Dunbar and Chance are not here because having that one-on-one with Dr. Stacy, and I want to know how the date was, and for some odd reason, we didn't get that. We're going to move on. Ricky and his date with Sheila. He had a good time. Catherine felt the way about the way that she was dressed on her first date. She felt a little bit insecure about how she dressed. And they talked about a lot of things. The main topic was Catherine's issue with his ex-wife and how he co-parents with her. And that, sometimes he'll help her out by staying over at her house when she has to work late at night. And Sheila said she didn't have a problem with it. Catherine was laughing, not because she felt the way that Sheila didn't mind it, but the fact that Catherine said that was me. I laughed as if I didn't have a problem with it either until I became his girlfriend. I said that we've all been there. We think we can be so understanding of a situation that we have not dealt with yet. We have not, you know, figured out the ins and outs. We have not experienced it yet. We can be so understanding. Oh, I'm grown. It's not gonna bother me. It is what it is. But till you are actually in it and dealing with it, you can be like, this is for the birds. I don't want to deal with this shit. So yeah, that's a human nature feeling that you think you'll be understanding when you're in it. It's like, oh no 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 no, what does this mean? You know what I'm saying? Um, but then Catherine gave more of a disclaimer about how the type of relationship that Ricky and his ex-wife have. They have conversation with each other that doesn't have anything to do with their children. They would go out to eat and they would arrive together at family events as if they're still a unit. They're still a couple. So if you are still acting as if you guys are still a couple, why y'all get divorced? And you guys are not having conversations that has anything to do with your child. You guys are having other types of conversations. Yeah. Like I'm not about to say that divorce people can't still become friends, but there probably should be a thin line of what type of conversations you will have to the other person. And Catherine said that no woman should have to deal with another woman having this much access to her man. And I agree. So one of the boundaries have been set is Ricky will stop spending the night at his ex-wife's house. Good. Now the feedback that he was getting about Sheila, Dr. Stacy loved it, how they can both learn from each other and that it can bring them closer. But Catherine isn't happy. She smiled, but I don't think she's happy. I honestly don't know why Catherine is in this relationship because I don't feel any romance. I don't feel like this relationship is salvageable. I don't think it's salvageable at all. I don't. So will Ricky get a second date? Ricky automatically said no because he didn't want Catherine to feel like this was nothing more than a learning experience. But Dr. Stacy said you're defeating the purpose of what the process is. It's for you to open up and see if your relationship is worth fighting for. But if you was to say no every time, you are obviously are in a good place in a date. It ended good. You're having fun. You're opening up. Why would you stop that for another person? Don't do that. This process was to open you up and see if your relationship is fighting for it. That means you're going to have to step outside. You're going to have to step in and see if the grass is green on the other side in order for you to fix what you already have. You're going to have to. Saying it because of Catherine, it's just like with Catherine saying no to Mark because of you. I wish that Catherine went on another date with Mark because that was a really good date. She stopped because of you. You're saying no because of Sheila, but no, because of Catherine. And I didn't like that. But he had to been asked again, do you want to go out on a second date with Sheila? He said he was. He wants to go out, and I already knew he wanted to. He had a good time. It was a different experience, a different vibe. But that's the problem. Ricky is not honest about how he's feeling because he's so worried about protecting Catherine. Are you? You need to keep it a buck and be honest. Saying how you don't want her to make her feel insecure. It would make her feel insecure if you had a good time on the date and you said no because of her. Keep it a buck, be honest. Joshua talks about his date with Celine. He had a very good time. They have a lot in common, and that she was beautiful, and that he did a lot of preparation for this date. Got a new fresh haircut. He was doing workouts before the date, and that it was a good conversation. It was a good date. Then they talk about Joy wanting to have another child, especially with her age, and Celine isn't ready to have any children. She's worried about her. She's focused on her career. And I think it was refreshing for Joshua to hear that there's another woman who isn't ready to have children and probably won't have any children. She's on her career path. Um, so will Celine get another date? He says no because there wasn't any chemistry. All the little things that, attracted him to Joya was more important. I felt like Joshua had a very good time, but he didn't want to make Joya feel away, so he said no. But why isn't he held to task like Ricky is? I believe that Joshua wanted to go on that date with Celine, but did not want to jump ahead. Mm-mm. Excuse me. And talking about how you didn't have, and she didn't have that natural chemistry and natural spark. She did, because you said it. You said it was nice. It was good. The chemistry, her aura was all the way there. You had a very good time with Celine, but you wanted to say no. Y'all killing me. You guys are defeating the purpose of what this process is supposed to be. Finding out if you are in a relationship that's worth saving. Stepping out. If you're not ready to see if there's anybody else that could be your mate, then don't come on the show if you're not ready to be all the way in with the process. So the tables will get turned this week. And since the men went on dates, the women have been on dates, you are going on a date with someone you already know. your ex. Wow, I don't know if they ever did that before. So pretty much, if you are bringing triggers from your past relationship or your new relationship, know what it is now and nip it in the bud. If this ex still carries a torch or still carries a trigger for you, nip it in the bud. So Joya and Joshua, their exes were not comfortable coming on the show because, apparently the co-parenting routine had been solidified, it's going good. They did not want to rock the boat. So they will be meeting them privately to discuss their exes. Ricky and Catherine, they're going out on their exes, don't know what exes will come, and, wondering who will it be? So we get to Ricky and Catherine's home and waiting for an ex to pop up. Catherine is happy they are creating new boundaries with his ex-wife, but she wants Ricky to automatically set boundaries versus then her telling him. If you know that there are things that I will find offensive to, things that will hurt my feelings, things that I don't like, I think you should step in and just nip it in the bud. Place a boundary without me having to remind you, hey, I don't like this. This is making me uncomfortable. You need to fix this. You know?
So the first ex to arrive was Chelsea, Ricky's ex-wife, which I wasn't surprised. I wanted to know the dynamics of their relationship and what led to them getting divorced. And obviously, Catherine has no issue with Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea's very beautiful, but Chelsea wants someone that can work with them, with knowing their relationship, knowing what entails about their relationship, and understand it, work with it, not against it. At this moment, Dr. Stacy is driving around calling Dunbar and Chance to want to know what's going on because they missed the session. It's going straight to voicemail. Now, in the confessional, Dunbar and Chance's excuse of not going to the last session was they needed some soul searching. They need to regroup. They've been out with other people. Other people have been in their ears, and they just needed some break. But I felt like after one date, you guys are automatically trying to like rush or and be anxious. I mean, this process isn't about you finding somebody new. This process is to open your mind about what you're not getting in a relationship. And if dating someone new can open up on what you haven't gotten, you could use that and implement it in your current relationship so you can move forward to marriage and children. That's the whole point. This isn't a dating show. That's not what this is. It's literally put a ring on it. That's the whole purpose of this show. So the fact that saying that people are in their ear and they needed to regroup, I felt like Dunbar was afraid that Chance might have had the opportunity to reconnect with an ex or figure out what she's getting from an ex that didn't get the first time. Could it be a second time? That's what I was thinking, because the fact that Dunbar trying to control the aftermath of him being vulnerable, of opening up what he's dealing with and not letting Chance understand what she could be missing in her relationship, like that's not good to me. And it's a waste of Dr. Stacy's time, Owen's time, producer's time, other couples' time. Like, this is a waste. You know what I'm saying? So, Ricky and Chelsea, they're cool with one another. You know what I'm saying? They have a conversation about what is Catherine's problem with their relationship, okay? What have I done to cause an issue? What have we done that crossed the boundary? Well, him sleeping over at your house when you have to work late at night, that's a little bit eerie. I don't think it's Captain being insecure about what could occur between her and Ricky, but it's still that point. Why does he need to go to your house to watch his son? He has a place to stay. He can bring his son to his mother and father's home and watch his son and be able to still do his daily routines of making sure he goes to school, and then he can drop him off, or you can go pick him up in the morning if he does have school the next day. So that needs to be understood. But I want to know what was Catherine implying about their types of conversations. If they have a simple conversation about what they're doing, how their day goes, what's up with them, like a friend would do, then that's all it is. But if there's more to it, she needs to let us know what type of conversation they're having. And they have an orthodox way of parenting. We cannot come in on that, but if someone else who is on the outside looking in can see that's a little bit eerie, I need to be understanding. And maybe Ricky needs to just come out automatically of what to expect before some things come out later, and it's like, what did that mean? But Chelsea talks about Catherine being insecure and that she doesn't want Catherine's insecurities to come in between Ricky to spend time with his son or get to know his son. I don't think that will happen because I don't think that Catherine has a problem with his son. I just think that maybe she's wondering where does she fit as the woman in his life, the priority. Where does she fit in? And as far as her saying that Catherine was insecure, there might be some insecurities that Catherine was probably never chosen first. And then Ricky talks about Catherine has had history with dating men with children that didn't go well. So maybe she's still triggered by the process of being with a man who has children and has a mom. And maybe y'all need to spend more time with one another so that way Catherine won't have to feel like Chelsea is coming in and trying to take over and it's not a third. But there's also a part of me that wants to know, why did they get divorced? If you guys are still showing up as a unit, you guys are still going out, and you guys have a close relationship, why get divorced? Was this a better situation than being married? Who knows, right? So just having to put that into motion so that way Catherine will feel at ease. But I still felt like Chelsea kept putting her and Ricky in a we situation that Catherine had to come in and be a part of them. But at the same time, you and Ricky are in a relationship while raising your son. But other than that, I don't think you have a say so in who Ricky is dating in his life. If you feel like that person isn't a good fit for your son, yes, but I don't think you have an interest or should have a say so in who he's dating, though. That part, I think that's where the line should be drawn. But we're gonna move on from that. Chelsea showed me no harm in the relationship, and I can believe that. But I think that Catherine has never been chosen first. So moving on from there, Joya and Joshua, they don't have to meet their exes. Dr. Stacy's coming over to talk about their exes. Now they have a co-parenting relationship with their exes, and I'm like, just Joya, right? No, turns out Joshua also has a daughter, and he was also married for 5 years. Here I am under the impression that Joshua had no children, wasn't interested in having any children, but he does. So what is the co-parenting relationship like with Joya and the father of her son? So his father lives in New York full time, and he spends the summers with him, but throughout the year he's with Joya. So for Joshua, his ex-wife lives in Georgia, and he can see his daughter at any time. There's no routine, and his ex-wife is recently remarried. So now they have a good co-parenting relationship. They have it, but what's the other piece of the puzzle? Why is Joshua so hesitant of not getting married and having more children? So asking Joya, why is having another child so important to her? Because she wants to have more than one children so that way her children won't grow up alone. And now that she's in a better relationship where she can feel like this is the one, I can now get married and have children the right way. Now understand that from Dr. Stacy, she got an understanding. She loves how she put so much thought into this and she wants to do it the right way, but you think like this. What does Joshua feel about this? Because I need to understand why he's hesitant of not having any more children and wanting to get married, even though you're at a place where you're ready to have children, more children, and you're also ready to be married. So she has a private one-on-one conversation with Joshua. And at that point, it's just kind of like, this is the problem. You want to have more children, get married, and Joshua don't. That's it. So, wondering how the divorce happened. It wasn't a good fit. There was a lot of trust issues. They struggled financially. And then that's when he got into self-help, self-therapy, and meditating. And he manifested Joya. Joya came at the right time for him. Now, how does he feel about someone else raising his daughter? He wonders about the little things he missed, the memories. But then he knows that his position will never get replaced. But considering that while he's not there every day, it's a fear that he doesn't want to have to deal with that if he was to have another child and get married. So that's stopping him. Even though he has the ability to see his daughter whenever he wants to have another child, to be there physically, and have the fear of, I might mess up the marriage and having another child. So he is worried that if he isn't ready in time that Joya is to have children, but he doesn't want to be forced to be ready when he doesn't want to. So, okay, you guys get together, but then in 5 years, what's going to happen? And then what have y'all been doing this entire time? And I feel like Joshua is setting where he's at right now. But when he talks about he's in fear of not being able to support himself and be in a marriage and take care of a child, I had to think. You guys have been traveling. You know what I'm saying? You've been to Thailand, Dubai, Mexico. You have the ability to afford stability. But for some reason, you are holding back of adding a child to that. And I get it. You can never be financially ready to take care of a child. And of course, when it's just you, you have the ability to do what you want to do. You have responsibility to yourself. Even though he has a daughter, but she's covered. You know what I'm saying? She has her mother and she has her stepdad. So of course, the responsibility is kind of like not taken off of him, but he can still move how he moves while still being responsible, but still doesn't have to be as responsible if he was living in the home. At that point, it's just kind of like that's the issue. Joya wants marriage and children, and Joshua don't, but he doesn't want to lose Joya. At some point, you're gonna have to let her know. I don't think I'll ever be ready to get married again. And I don't think that I will want children again. But I know that you do, but I don't want to make you upset later in the line that I say I want children, then I don't want it. I want marriage, then I don't want it. Yeah, that part. So, next, Ricky and Catherine. She's about to meet up with her ex, and it's a learning experience, but Catherine's wondering, what ex do I need to meet? I've already figured out what I need to work on. So we get, what's his name? Corey. He's 40 years old, and he was her ex-fiance. There's nothing going on between them. They didn't have a bad breakup, but she was 20 when she got with him, and he was 36. How? Why was your 36-year-old looking for a 20-year-old? And how, Catherine, did you find this I mean, I don't know. But he's remarried and everything. They were together for about 3 years. They did get engaged, but when they were doing counseling, the relationship wasn't going to work, so they broke up. So from Corey's perspective, Catherine never had a problem with getting help, but he did talk about how Catherine was a hothead. Catherine always acted out, and then she always wants to get mad about things that happen later, bring them out at a wrong time. And I guess just from that perspective, he's pretty much talking about how immature she was and dealing with the situation with him. But if she was 20 years old, fresh out into the adult world, what's you going to get? You're not going to get a mature 20-year-old. Where's that? So, when they were having a conversation, wondering about his co-parenting and that sometimes he was spending that at his ex-wife's house, Corey was like, oh, okay, I get it. Because at the same time, Corey had a baby mama, and Catherine didn't get along because that baby mama would cause drama, and Corey did not handle it the way that he should have to allow Catherine to move in and also be a priority. I don't think that he set it up in a way where Catherine could feel comfortable, because I feel like he just threw her in to deal with a situation she wasn't ready to be dealt with. So knowing that she has been triggered, she has been holding on to the way things have happened with Corey and his baby mama onto Ricky's and his situation. Maybe at that point she realizes, I was young when I got with you, and your situation, I'm now older and I now understand more now. And of course, whenever she feels uneasy about a situation, let Ricky know and trust that he'll handle it. That's all she can do. As long as she's vocal about how she's feeling, she can't say that Ricky didn't know, because Ricky knew, but she wants to at least trust him that he'll be able to handle it without making him do it and without being over his shoulder to see if he does do it. And also Corey took accountability that he didn't handle things the right way when it comes to co-parenting with the mother of his children. Okay, so we're down to the end. Chance and Dunbar, they missed out the last session, and now they're here and they're telling us this process is not for us. Dating other people is not for us. We realize that we love each other and that I'm meant to be with this person at this time, and my depression is gone. Poof, went away. I was like, what? First of all, I wasn't even paying attention to what he was saying all the way when he said his depression is over. Depression doesn't go away. See? You have it and you deal with it. Okay? And mental illness is not something to play with. It's not something to joke with. So for you to say you're not depressed anymore, and Dr. Stacy wanted to understand why this process isn't working for you. Dunbar said, man who uses God to be 100% was something of that nature that I was so confused that I did not know what that meant. And I felt like he's trying to come off as if he knows more than what Dr. Stacy does. And I don't like the fact that he keeps on trying to shut Dr. Stacy down about what he realized about himself. But she told him, we had a breakthrough in our conversation about where you are and how you're feeling. And I feel like it's less about dating other people and you not being honest about yourself. And he needs help. He's having trouble expressing what he's going through, and he doesn't trust Chance to understand. Here goes Chance. She said, oh, wait. Did you say that or did you put words in your mouth? See, Chance is already on the defense. Chance has been on defense ever since she got on this show. Ever since the first session, when everybody was in agreement with Dr. Stacy that Dunbar was being an asshole and trying to control her first date. And she didn't like that, because that's exactly what it was. He said, I didn't say that. I never said that. Roll the footage. That's exactly what he said. You said, I don't think that I can trust her to understand. So, yeah, let's go back to the footage. The footage says, I don't know how to say to Chance, I need help, and I don't think I can trust her to understand. That's pretty much in a nutshell. You don't trust her. So, Dr. Stacy is talking about we were going through something. We were reaching the tip of a breakthrough. And it breaks my heart that you're betraying you. Now, when she said that set Chance off. And Chance has been on defense ever since. Now, she's adjusting her seat, making sure she's nice and comfortable. She's crossing her legs. She's cocking her head left and right. Let's say, you know what, doctor, let's talk about it. Because you're saying that I'm betraying myself and staying with this man that I love. How am I betraying myself? Let's talk about it. No, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I said, Chance, you might want to calm down. She's being so combative and defensive because she knows what she has to deal with, but she doesn't want to admit it. And Dr. Stacy said, I'm not going against you with being with this man. Cool, be with him. I'm letting you know these red flags that I'm seeing. I'm not telling you about them to run and flee. I'm telling you so you can know what's going on. Dunbar has depression. Dunbar has anxiety. Dunbar has anger issues. He said it in the beginning of this episode. He was an angry teenager. He was angry from football, and he would bring it home and yell at his past girlfriend. Do you not think that's a red flag to want to understand and why that happened? You don't think that's a red flag? I can't get it off. So that's the work that Dunbar doesn't want to deal with. And you're falling behind because you don't want to open up to actual issues you guys are dealing with. So him not trusting you to understand and you don't want to open that wound, you guys just going to walk away as if you guys don't have any problems, and that doesn't work. If you guys don't work through the issues in your relationship, it will not save it. So it's kind of like you don't want to do the work, and that's why you're quitting the show, because you don't want to do the work. It's not about you figuring out how to be with another person. It's about you not doing the work to improve your relationship. You're running away. And because you want to run away, you think the problems are not going to follow you. They will. So saying that this process wasn't for you, that's fine. That's fine. But Chance wasn't ready and wasn't prepared of what someone else could read into her situation that she thought she knew everything about, because she says she's a fast learner and she doesn't know everything, but she can catch things very quickly. I feel like you could, but you didn't catch this, and you probably did catch it. You just didn't want to admit it. So we're going to do it our way and blah, blah, blah. But I felt like y'all didn't even go through anything. Y'all went through one date. One date. That's all y'all did. And y'all think that this isn't for us, then y'all shouldn't have came on the show. But I felt like this show is about to open up more wounds that you guys thought they wouldn't uncover. And once it got to that point, you guys wanted to flee and run scared. So it's like, fine, y'all can go. It was the arrogance for me that these two people who clearly have issues are walking red flags, are the people saying that Dr. Stacy thinks she needs to save us and we need her. We don't need her. They need her. And da-da-da-da and da-da-da. I said, you guys do need it the most, but you guys don't want to explore it. You're too afraid to explore that. Dunbar, you are definitely afraid that Chance will find somebody else and you won't have the ability to control her anymore. And I don't understand their decisions, but you guys have y'all journey. She wish you guys the best. please go love and light. I want you guys to at least work individually, get some work individually, and work together. But y'all can go peace and love and good riddance. Chance and Dunbar, I'm happy because I felt like we didn't even scratch the surface of what they were dealing with. Next week we have a new couple. I wonder who. So then of course I just saw on Instagram that Dunbar proposed to Chance and now they're happy. I said whatever. That marriage won't last. It won't be a happy relationship. Go ahead. Whatever. Y'all, that's it. That's all I have. Please stay tuned for my next video and I'm gonna see you guys later. Bye.